Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. I am going to be putting in my seed order for growing seeds 2020, growing plants from seed 2024, and I wondered whether you'd like to come along with me. I'm up at my parents' house, being the housekeeper for a few days, and so I've kept a list of jobs that I can do while I'm here, including ordering seeds. So come along with me. I grow annuals and biennials, hardy annuals, tender annuals, all kinds, as a cut flower crop for sale. But I think artistically about why I'm growing them, because I'm also a florist. So I'm growing them mostly to use in either bouquet work by me or for sale to florists, very high end, smarty pants florists who are using them for wedding flowers. So come along with me and I'll help you see why and how I choose the varieties I'm going to grow. And if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Please do subscribe, press the bell icon, and we'll tell you when we've got more clips coming up. And if any of the tips and tricks are useful along the way, you can always buy me a coffee, or better still, join my club. The links for coffee buying and club membership are in the blurb to all my clips. Right, without further ado, on we go. Now, my first port of call when I'm buying seeds, ordering seeds, is always Higgledy Garden. Here's my friend Benjamin Ranyard, for lots of reasons. One, the seed is fresh as a daisy. He buys limited amounts of seed a year. Some of the seed is grown by him, and it's kept in optimum conditions. And once he sold it, It's done. And I think as small businesses go, it's a brilliant model. I'm increasingly interested in small businesses which keep themselves small. I love the idea of less is more. And I think business models over the years have often been grow the business for the sake of the business, often at the cost of the health and mental health of the business owner. So I'm really interested in tiny businesses which are sustainable for the business owner, and Higgledy Garden is definitely one of them. So I'm going to start with the Higgledy Garden, and then I'm going to look at Chiltern Seeds. I'm in the UK, and I'm Zone 8, so hardiness Zone 8. So I'm looking at Chiltern Seeds, who are based in Oxfordshire, lovely people. Sisters, who run a business they inherited from their father from a barn. And I've been there and seen the operation. It's absolutely fantastic. And they're very, very nice people. Unusual, really good, unusual seed list. And then third, I will look at plants of distinction. And I'm a great one for creature of habit. And plants of distinction always seem to me to have a very good list of unusual tender annuals. So I particularly look for tender annuals there. For sweet peas, I'll put all these in the link. For sweet peas, I always go to Kings of Cockershaw, because that's where my mother buys her sweet pea seeds. And who am I to fight with Googie? Best not, in my experience. And then for vegetable seeds, because I am growing more veg than I used to, because it's better to grow your own if you can. Not because it's particularly healthier, although that's part of it, but because literally driving the vegetables back from the supermarket makes the car heavier, and therefore one uses more fuel. And so therefore there's a heavier cost, literally heavier, weightier cost in the environment, because I use more fuel driving vegetables back and forth to the supermarket. So that's why I'm growing vegetables. And I tend to order my veg seed from Marshall's. Again, because Mum always does. And who am I to argue with my mother? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at what everybody's got. And I'm going to make a list of what I like the look of. And I'm going to be very careful to bear in mind that I have a limited amount of space. I have 5 30-metre long beds. 5 threes of 15. That's 150 running meters of meter wide beds, which can be put to being used by annuals. So I can't do too many. And a lot of that will be sweet peas because I love them. I think if you're a flower farmer, you need to grow what you love first because you'll pay attention. If you grow what you think you ought to grow but you don't love it, then it'll annoy you and you won't have a lovely time. So I don't grow. There are lots of things I don't grow because I don't love it enough. But there are always things I like to try. So I'm going to make a list and I'm going to think about how much space they're going to take, how long they're going to take to flower, how much flowering I'm going to likely get off them, whether they're good cut and come again, what job they will do in different bouquets. Will they be lace or scent or green or daisy shaped? I think about all of those things, whether they go well with the other material that I've got growing in the garden. I might have roses or dahlias, or depending on the season, whether they will go well with the accent flowers, whether they can be focal flowers themselves, if I'm a bit short of roses, whether they'll be wow factor, whether they're really going to earn a living in my space. Anyway, I'm going to have a look and come back to you a bit later. Right, it's the next day and I've made my list. Now, clubbers, remember, you've got a Higgledy Garden discount code that's coming, and I will let you have that at our first live in January. And I will also give you the full list of what I've ordered. But everybody else, so what I do is my list has 1, 2, 3 and dry across the top. And so I tick whether it's crop 1, crop 2, crop 3, and whether it can dry, whatever it is I've ordered. So it's a very easy way for me to work out whether I've got enough or too little. I have now made my list, and I ordered in the end from Higgledy Garden and Chiltern Seeds, and then I got onto Marshall's, and it seemed to me, Plants of Distinction, obviously, as I said. They've got some lovely antirrhinums, had some nice time with the antirrhinums there, and inspired by other people. I always watch what other people are growing, and I think, oh, that's good. And sometimes there's something that I've not had a great time with before, but I see somebody else having a better time with it, and I think, oh, I'll have a go with that. So Craspedia has gone back onto my list. Thank you, silver grey foliage. And I'm going to try it again, but we'll see. We'll see. And I got that from Plants of Distinction. I was looking at the Marshall's list for vegetables, and it just was eye-wateringly expensive. So I then went on to Simpson's Seeds, which is based in a walled garden next door to Longleat in Horningsham. And they have a very unusual collection of chilies and peppers. And I ended up buying all of my vegetable seeds from them because I'm not looking for quantity, I'm looking for quality. And they were much, much less expensive per packet than were the seeds that I could have had from Marshall's. I think probably per seed, they're not much more. There's not much difference in it. It's just the packets from Marshall's are bigger. I don't need a huge amount. We're a small family. There's a limit to how much vegetable growing I can do successfully because I'm a flower farmer and I need to focus on my flower farming. Anyway, so Simpson Seeds ended up with a big order. And then, of course, Kings of Cockershaw for the sweet peas. My total seed bill for 2024, which is not including any biennials, which I'll order later in the season, but my total seed bill was £159.35. It's not a huge amount of money, given that £46.70 of that was vegetable seed. If you're thinking of growing vegetables, you can either think of it as an eco way of helping your family's carbon footprint. So every time you grow a veg, you are costing the planet less because you're growing it yourself. Even if you grow a little tray of lettuce, it's going to make a difference. But you can also think of it financially. £46.70 compared to what I would spend on all those vegetables, buying them every time, and driving them back from the supermarket to my house, makes it very worthwhile, both financially and for the planet. Whether I will grow good veg or not is another matter, because my focus has to be on the flowers, because that's how I make a living. Oh, the juggle. Oh, the juggle. We're all juggling. Anyway, I hope that you are inspired. I hope that you are inspired to spend some of these dark days of winter. It is New Year's Eve. And actually, to be ordering seeds on New Year's Eve feels as though, for me, it feels as though it's a declaration of faith in these dark days of winter that summer will come. But we're the other side of the solstice, so already it's a little bit lighter every day. Although I'm at my parents' house in the Cumbria, where it is much, much darker here in the north of England than it is in the south. It gets darker. It doesn't get light in the morning till about 8 o'clock, and starts getting dark again about 2:30 in the afternoon. So I have enjoyed making my seed order, and I hope you'll enjoy thinking about what your seed order might be as well. If you've never done this kind of thing before, I really recommend you use a Pinterest board. Pin the pictures of what you plan to order to make sure that they kind of work well together. Pin pictures so that your flowers, when they come, will make arrangements that you will enjoy. And you can pin each set of seeds as you plan to sow them. I do have a cut flower patch design workshop if you'd like to book a place, and I also do seed sowing demos. So if you'd like to know more about these things, do have a look at the website and book a place. But otherwise, I'm now going to start looking at my dahlia order. I have a few that I would like to add to my collection. So far it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 long. Try not to make it get much longer than that, and try to order from just 1 or 2 people. Otherwise it gets very confusing. Anyway, my seed order will be arriving. I will be sowing seeds from February, and this year we are reinstating our village plant sale on the 11th of May. So every time I sow some seeds, I will sow a few extra so that I've got some spare plants to sell at the plant sale on the 11th of May. And I'm beginning to encourage other people to think about having a plant sale themselves on the 11th of May. If everybody I talk to on social media, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube, if we all have a little plant sale all the way around the world on the 11th of May, and we raise a little bit of money, it's not about huge amounts, it's about ripple effect. If we all raise a little bit of money and we donate that money to our small local horticultural charity, so the challenge is to find yourself a small local horticultural charity. In our case, it's the Growing Space in Wincanton. And we all donate a little bit of money. Then while the big news of the world may feel very overwhelming and it feels as though terrible things are happening and people are being particularly horrible. I mean, at the moment, it feels as though people are being unbelievably horrible to each other. We can make tiny, tiny amounts of change by growing a plant and selling a plant and giving the money for which we sold the plant to a local horticultural charity, which can help people with mental health issues, with learning difficulties, people who just need to get outside. The Growing Space in Wincanton does all of those things, but also grows plants which get used to plant up the gardens at the local hospital, for example. So we can do a tiny, tiny, tiny thing, and every time we do a tiny thing, the ripple effect eventually will be like a tsunami of good around the world. So that's the first time I've mentioned the plant sale to everybody, and I will be mentioning it more as we go along. Anyway, enjoy ordering seeds. This is my list. 1 page, 2 page, no, it's 3, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages long, and to fill 150 running meters of meter wide beds over a season. Yeah, it's not much. What will your list look like? And if you have good seed suppliers, I appreciate my seed suppliers. I will put the links to them in the blurb. Higgledy Garden, Chiltern Seeds, Plants of Distinction, King's Seeds and Simpson Seeds, and I will put them in the blurb. If you have any good seed suppliers and you're in America or Canada or Australia or South Africa or India or wherever you are, A, you're very welcome, thank you for watching, but B, perhaps you could put the link to good suppliers that you recommend in your area in the comments, and that might be really helpful for people who are looking for places to order seeds from. I always order my seed direct from the supplier because I reckon it'll be fresher and better quality. There you go. Anyway, I hope you have a very good and calm and peaceful new year. I'm sitting here with my dear papa, who is drinking his coffee and reading The Week and considering the world, and having a little snooze, actually, while I'm talking to you. He's 91 years old. It's been a long and very busy life, so he's earned a snooze. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.